that I got in the middle of the desert in Utah by a cave. And it all sounded so cool. It was like a Grateful Dead song or something. So I said, thank you so much for the tea. And Java Joe was running an illegal poker game in the back room, so of course I wanted to be involved in it. Because as you know, Logan, I am the poker world champion. So I sat down to play, and I started winning money. And then I said, where's that girl that made me the tea? And she came back and she said, I'm not called that girl, my name is Jewel. And I go, Jewel? Just like one name, Jewel? And she goes, yeah. And I go, you're Jewel? Your name's Jewel? She said, yeah, I'm a barista here. She goes, I write songs too. And I said, well, maybe we should write some songs together. And she was living in her Volkswagen van. And she said to me, do you want to come back to my van and make stained glass art? And I said, yeah. Because she was a hippie from Alaska. So we went back to her van and made stained glass art. One thing led to another. We fell in love and started writing songs, and we would go surfing down in Baja California and catch all kind of waves. So one time I said, let's go really far down south. So we drove and we drove until you cross over and you're on your way to Cabo San Lucas. But before you get to Cabo San Lucas, you cross over to the Gulf of California. And we were driving so far south, and there wasn't going to be any surf there because obviously we're in the Gulf of California, but I spoke Spanish because I went to college in Guadalajara, Mexico. And so I stopped and I asked the guy, ¿Dónde está una playa bonita? Me gusta México mucho, es mi favorito país en todo el mundo. And he goes, hay una playa bonita con olas grandes, pero aquí no, pero allá hay drogas. And I said, what's drogas? And he goes, drugs that they fly in illegally. He said, it's really dangerous. Do not go down that road. But when you're Steve Poltz, when somebody says, do not go down that road, and you have ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder, he should have said, go down that road. So I went down that road, ladies and gentlemen, of the Old Settlers Music Festival. And I drove as fast as I could. And when I got there, there was an old hotel. And I kicked open the door. And I want you kids to know, if nobody's behind the front desk of a hotel, you're allowed to kick open the door to a room and fall asleep. Just tell them Steve Poltz says it's cool. So I did that. And we fell asleep on some Mexican blankets. And it was gorgeous. And when we woke up, we realized we were in a beautiful place called Bahia de San Luis Gonzaga. You should Google that place, Bahia de San Luis Gonzaga. It's gorgeous. So when we woke up, we looked outside and Jules said to me, I want to go whale watching. And I said, but I don't have a boat, baby. And she said to me, can you find a boat? And I said, no, I don't have any money. I was just a poor traveling folk singer from the Rugburns. And then, almost as if on cue, came 4 Mexican federales down the beach with something silver shoved in their belts, and it was guns. And they sauntered up to us like they were in an old Clint Eastwood film, maybe like for a few dollars more, or something like that, with the soundtrack by the film by Sergio Leone, with the soundtrack by Ennio Morricone. I split my pants. Look at my undies. Get a shot of that. You gotta put that on Instagram ASAP. Live cam, Poltz splits pants. So, one thing leads to another, and I'm out there and I'm talking to these cops, and they saunter up to us, and it's like the soundtrack's by Ennio Morricone, and you can see the heat rising off of the sand, and you heard the music going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And they said, would you guys like to go whale watching? And I said, on a boat? And they said, see. So they took us out on a boat, and I said, what else are you doing? They said, we're looking for drug smugglers. I said, es peligro? He said, sí, es muy peligro, which means dangerous. So I said, this is cool. And then they got a call, and they said, we don't have time to take you back to shore. We have to go get some drug smugglers. There could be a shootout. Would you guys like an AK-47? Now, people, I, Steve Poltz, can tell you, I'm not a gunman myself, but when a cop in Mexico said to me, would you like an AK-47? All of a sudden I became Snoop Dogg. And I said, hell yeah, Dre, give me your AK, bitch. So he gives me an AK, and then Jules says, "No, I believe in angels." So the boat was going across the water, and we saw the drug smugglers running. And then Jules said, "Excuse me, I would like an AK-47. Now picture Jewel wearing a yellow bikini, and the AK-47 has a strap holding it on, and she puts it over her neck, and the strap is right in between. And the wind is blowing her hair back, and she looks like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. It is amazing. She even started talking in slow motion. So one thing leads to another, and they caught the slowest drug smuggler. Now I have a question for you old settlers people. What do you mean, you people? Well, what I mean is, why don't drug smugglers do more cardio workout? This guy was so slow, and they caught him, and he told them where all the weed was buried. And then Jewel just sat and talked to the cops, and I had to carry the weed onto the boat. Now, I'm Catholic and an altar boy, so I'd never seen pot before, but it comes in these things called kilos. And there was a ton of weed, and the cops had me put it on the boat, and the boat starts taking in water. They arrested all these drug smugglers, and then they were looking at me like I stole their weed. And I said to the drug smuggler, "Hey dude, I'm just a folk singer traveling around. I'm not stealing your weed. I want nothing to do with this." And he goes, "Then what's your name?" And I go, "Steve Poltz." And he goes, "I'll remember you. I'm a young man right now. My name is El Chapo. But one day you'll hear of me." And this was 1994. And I've never forgotten this. So he said he owed me a favor. So we get back to the shore, and Jewel says, "Let's get out of here. I feel like we're gonna get killed." And I said to the cops in Mexico, "This is the largest drug bust, isn't it?" He goes, "Largest drug bust in years." And I said, "What are you gonna do?" And they said, "We're gonna have a party." So I said, "Well, we're gonna get out of here." And then he said, "Esteban, take some." And I said, "Take some of the wood." He goes, "Take some of the pot." I go, "No way, man, I'll go to jail. I'll be like the guy in the movie Midnight Express, trying to talk to my girlfriend from behind a glass wall on a telephone." And he started up, and he opened up a switchblade, and he goes, "I said, take some, S.A." You know, sometimes when you're talking to somebody and they're really nice to you, and then all of a sudden you see they have a mean side? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about!
So, what he says to me is, he goes, "Take some." So he cuts open one of the kilos, and I stick my fingers in, and I take out what I think is less than an ounce. And then he says to me, "Take a whole kilo." So Jewel says to me, "You're giving it to the first person you can find." So there's an old lady, and she's 80 years old, and she's cooking spaghetti sauce. She's from Mexico. And I said, "¿Quieres marijuana?" And she said, "Sí, for my glaucoma." So she takes the whole kilo, pours it into the spaghetti sauce. And it's next to a chalkboard that says, "Welcome Mormon Youth Group from Salt Lake City for spaghetti feed." And I said to her, "You can't do that." And she said, "It's okay, it's okay." So Jewel says, "Let's go back to sleep." So we go back to sleep, and I wake up at midnight, and this whole Mormon youth group is reenacting Lord of the Flies. They have torches, they are the head of a pig on a stick, they have rival gangs, and they're singing Kumbaya backwards. So I wake up in the morning, and one of the Mormon missionaries is asleep, and the water's coming in, and he looked like he was gonna drown, and he's next to a goat. So I woke him up. I said, "Mister, you could drown." And he said, "You've saved my life. I owe you a favor." And I said, "So does a guy named El Chapo that I just met. This is crazy." He goes, "I will pay you back one day." I go, "Okay, no worries." He said, "What's your name?" And I go, "Steve Poltz." And I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Mitt Romney." And so this was back in '94. So he owes me a favor too. So one thing led to another. I came back to the room. Jewel was still asleep, and I grabbed the guitar, and that's where I wrote this song. I'll never tell that story that good again. Don't ever come see me again. It's all downhill after this. I hear the clock, it's 6 a.m. I feel so far from where I've been. I
I got my eggs, I got my pancakes too. Got my maple syrup, everything but you. I break the yolks, make a smiley face. I kinda like it in my brand new place. I wipe the spots out of the mirror, don't leave the keys in the door. I never put wet towels on the floor anymore, 'cause dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. And I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. Oh, my mama, she was out for a walk and sold a cup of coffee, but it didn't want to talk. Picked up the paper, it was more bad news. More hearts being broken, more people being used. Put on my coat in the pouring rain. I saw a movie, but it wasn't the same. It was happy, man, I was sad. It made me miss you, oh so bad, 'cause dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. I go about my business and I'm doing fine. Besides, what would you say if I had you on the line? Same old story now, much to say. Hearts are broken every day. Oh yeah. So I never thought I would write a song that would have become so popular, but it allowed me to buy a few good things in my life. I bought this festival. Because I believe in Gene Spivey. I actually sent my parents on an Alaskan cruise and bought my dad a MacBook Air, and he's 88. That's what I did with the money. And it was really weird because when the song got popular, Jewel asked me if I would be the dude in the video with her and not wear a shirt in that big old MTV video they put out, so I did it. Well, I didn't think the song would become so popular and sell 15 million records, but I was at a San Diego Chargers game and they were playing the Los Angeles Raiders or something years ago, and there was a Hell's Angel guy there, a biker, and he was the scariest looking guy I ever did see. He had spiderweb tattoos on his elbows and tattooed tears down the sides of his cheek. And he had his arm around his girlfriend, and he looked at me in line. I was waiting for a beer because they cut off the beer sales at the end of the third quarter in the NFL. And he looked back and he goes, "That's the dude from the Jewel video." And I swear to you, I thought he was gonna kick my ass for being the guy in the Jewel video. But instead he goes, "Will you sign my old lady's breast?" And it was then that I used the next word in this sentence I'm going to tell you. It's a word I've never used before. I said, "I don't want to, you'll shank me." I don't know why I said shank. So I didn't know what to do, and there was these two guys behind me, and they were from Kentucky, and they go, "That is the dude from the Jewel video." So I said to those guys, "Let's play 20 questions." Because I wanted to change the subject, and they said to me, "What's 20 questions?" I said, "Well, you write down a word or a phrase on a piece of paper, and then they have 20 questions to guess it." And the guy in the Hells Angels, who was the Hells Angels, goes, "I ain't playing no 20 questions." So I said, "You don't have to, I'll split up the guys from Kentucky." So one of the guys was on my team, And the other guy said, okay, write down some words or something. And the guy with me goes, let me write down the words. I go, okay, we'll write down the words. So he writes down donkey dick, which was really weird. So I go, okay, you guys start asking questions. And the other guy goes, is it edible? And then the guy with me goes, it could be. And then he goes, is it donkey dick? So I didn't have to sign that other guy's wife's breast. I brush my teeth, I put the cap back on. I know you hate it when I leave the light on. I pick a book up, I turn the sheets down. I take a drink and a good look around. I put on my PJs and I hop into bed. I'm half alive, but I feel mostly dead. I tell myself it'll all be alright. I shouldn't think anymore tonight. Let me hear you. Dreams last for so long. Even I know you love me, and soon I know you will see. Soon I know you will see. You were meant for. Big ending. You were meant for me, and I was meant for you. That was a beautiful moment.